All right, today's lesson is 3.1. We're going to be using two let statements. Based off of what we did yesterday, we're just going to expand. So here are the steps, right? You want to define a variable, right? And we're going to use one. So if we have two unknowns, we're always going to be in terms of x or n, or whatever letter you want to use. We're not having to add x or y or something like that. And we're going to set up an equation and solve it, and then answer it, of course. All right, let's look at the, oh, sorry. Let's look at the first example. All right, define a variable using let statements, set up the equation, then solve. Number one says one number is 12 less than another. Okay, so when we're talking about word problems, usually the last thing mentioned is going to be my x, another number. I know that seems weird, right? So another number, well, let another number equal x. Now let's reread it and see if we can find something else. One number is 12 less than another. One number is 12 less than another number. So one number, we're going to let one number equal x minus 12. Remember that term less than? That's a turnaround phrase. So that means I had to put my x first, okay? So now I have one number is x minus 12, and another number is x. Then we keep reading to find what we're going to set it equal to. The total of the two numbers is 154. Well, total means I'm going to add. So I'm going to take one number. Oh, sorry about that. I'm going to take one number, x minus 12, and add another number, that's x, and set it equal to 154. Right, now this is an equation. You should be able to handle this, right? We're going to combine like terms. I have two x's here, so x plus x gives me 2x minus 12 equals 154. We're going to add 12 to both sides and get 2x equals 166. Divide by 2, and x equals 83. Now we can answer the questions. The another number, which is x, that is 83, and then the one number, which is x minus 12, well, 83 minus 12 is 71. So when we answer this, our numbers are 83 and 71. There's no labels or units or anything like that, so I'm okay with just the two numbers. Let's look at another example. Oh, my little dialog here. Controls. All right, number 2 says the sum of two numbers is 80. Right, that didn't tell me anything, so I'm going to keep reading. The larger number is 4 more than 3 times the smaller. So in this sentence is where I'm going to get my variables. The smaller number is the last thing mentioned. That's going to be x. So let smaller number equal x. And then we reread that sentence. Once we find x and reread it, the larger number is 4 more than 3 times the smaller. Well, 4 more means I'm adding. The larger number is going to be 4 more than 3 times. That's just 3x. And we have two unknowns, but we only have one variable. So we want to be really careful about that. Now we're going to take those two and add them together because it says the first sentence gave us the equation. When you see is, you know that's equals. The sum of the two numbers is 80. So x plus 4 plus 3x is 80. Okay, we have an equation. Yay. Combine like terms, 1x and 3x, that makes 4x. Plus 4 equals 80. Subtract 4 from both sides, 4x equals 76. Divide by 4, and I get x is equal to 19. So that means that the smaller number is 19. For the larger number, you're simply plugging in 19 for x. 3 times 19 plus 4 is 61. So my two numbers are 19 and 61. Oh, math. I love math. Here we go. In Mrs. Middleton's math class, there are 7 more boys than girls. Okay, there it is. The last thing, that's x. So we're going to let girls equal x. And then we're going to reread that sentence to find out our equation for boys. It says in Mrs. Middleton's math class, there are 7 more boys than girls. So boys are gonna be x plus 7. There's 7 more. You could say 7 plus x, that's totally fine. All right, and then the second sentence says, there is a total of 29 students in the class. Well, total means we're adding together. So we have girls plus boys, and there's 29 of them. Now we have our equation. As combined like terms, I have x and x. It's x plus x, 2x plus 7 equals 29. Subtract 7, 2x equals 22. Divide by 2, and I get x is equal to 11. So that means there are 11 girls. And if we plug in 11 here for x, 11 plus 7 is 18. The question wanted to know how many boys there are. There are 18 boys. All right. This isn't so bad, I hope. Again, if I go too fast, you can always pause or rewind or whatever. All right, let's look at number 4. Reese is 7 years younger than Emily. Emily's the last thing. Emily is X. So let Emily equal X. Oh, her age. Okay, but that's okay. And then it says Reese is 7 years younger than Emily. So Reese is X minus 7. The sum of their ages is 37. Find the age of each girl. Well, the sum means, again, we're going to add them together. So Emily, age, plus Reese's age equals 37. Combine like terms, x and x, that gives me 2x, minus 7 equals 37. Add 7, 2x equals 44. Divide by 2, and x equals 22. So that means Emily is 22 years old. And Reese, 22 minus 7 is 15. So Emily is 22, and Reese is 15. All right, fabulous. One more, and we're done the front side here. All right. Let's look at number 5. On their last history test, Eric scored 5 more than twice the points that his friend Josh did. What's the last thing they talk about in that first sentence? And don't say did, it's Josh. So Josh is going to be our x. Let Josh equal x. And then we're going to reread it. Because on the last history test, Eric scored 5 more than twice the points that his friend Josh did. 5 more means you're adding 5. 5 more than twice those points. 5 plus 2x, that's going to be Eric. If they scored 134 points altogether, we're going to find Eric's score. Altogether means we're adding them together. X plus 5 plus 2x equals 134. We're going to combine my terms. I have 1x and 2x. That gives me 3x plus 5 equals 134. Subtract 5. 3x equals 129. Divide by 3, and I get x is equal to 43. So Josh scored a 43. And Eric, if we multiply 43 times 2 and add 5, he scored a 91. So Eric's score oh my gosh, I can't spell today, y'all. No, I guess again. Is a 91. Yay. All right. So, it's not so bad. I hope you're getting the hang of it. Okay? All right, let's look at number 6. Ryan, my dude, has 1 less than 4 times the number of songs on his iPad than Olivia has. What is the last thing that is mentioned? Olivia. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to skip that up so fast. Okay? So Olivia, that's going to be our X here. Okay, so Olivia's score, or let Olivia oh, sorry, it's not scores, songs equal X. Let's reread that sentence so we can find out what to assign Ryan. Okay, so we know we're talking about Ryan. Ryan songs. All right, Ryan has one less than 4 times. Remember, less than is a turnaround phrase. Ooh, that's not a nice color. Don't you like it? Less than. That means I have to subtract 1 after I do the 4 times. Right? So 1 less than 4 times. So 4 times looks like 4x. 1 less than that. Boom. There's my 2 songs. In total, they have 469 songs. So I know that's going to be the end. That's my total. Let's start with Olivia's songs and add Ryan's songs. So x plus 4x minus 1 equals 469. All right, we just combine my terms. 1x and 4x gives me 5x. Minus 1 equals 469. Add 1. 5x equals 470. Divide both sides by 5. And we get x equals 94. All right, so when we plug x in here, Olivia has 94 songs, and we're going to answer all the questions because, why not? 94 times 4 minus 1 is 375 songs for Ryan. All right, the final question says, how many songs does Olivia have? Olivia has 94 songs. I honestly think these are easier than what we were doing yesterday. I hope you all agree. All right, let's look at number 7. We're almost finished here. Logan and Zoe went out to dinner. Okay, there's our first sentence. Doesn't say anything about assigning anything, so let's keep reading. Zoe's dinner bill was $5 more than 1/2 of Logan's bill. Logan's bill is going to be our X. So let Logan's bill equal X. And then we're going to reread it so we can talk about Zoe. Zoe's dinner bill was 5 more than 1/2 of. Remember when I said about yesterday, of, per, each? That's multiplication. So we know we're talking about Zoe. Zoe's bill, I mean. Zoe's bill is 5 more than, 5 plus 1/2 of Logan's bill. 1/2 that. That's how we're going to write that expression. Okay, if the total of the 2 bills combined, right, that means we're going to add them together, was $60.26, what was Zoe's dinner bill? All right, so we're going to set it equal to $60.26, and we're going to take the 2 bills and add them together. We got Logan's bill plus Zoe's bill. All of that equals $60.26. Now we combine like terms. This is kind of weird because we have 1x plus 1/2 x. That gives us 1 and 1/2 x. But I'm going to put, so I'm just going to do this on the side. 1 and 1/2 is 3 over 2. Right? Remember, we multiply the 2 times the 1 and we add the 1. That gives us 3 over 2. So when I combine my x's together, I get 3 halves x plus 5 equals $60.26. Now we just subtract 5 from both sides. We have x equals $55.26. Now I know you know what to do here because we don't divide fractions. We multiply by the reciprocal. Right? They cancel out. $55.26 times 2/3 is $36.84. So Logan's bill was $36.84. Now for Zoe's bill, we're gonna multiply that by half. We're gonna take $36.84 and we're gonna times it by half, and we're gonna add 5 to it. So I get $23.42. That is the answer I'm going to put over here. $23.42. Excelente. Moving on. Number 8. The Giants scored 14 less than 3 times the number of points that the Cowboys scored in their last football game. Okay, the two things we're talking about two football teams, the Giants and the Cowboys. The last one mentioned was the Cowboys. So we're going to let Cowboys be X. And now we're going to talk about the Giants, okay? So the Giants score, and I know I didn't capitalize, I apologize. The Giants scored 14 less than, what did we say about less than? That's a turnaround phrase. That means I have to subtract 14 after I do 3 times the number. Okay? Giants scored 14 less than 3 times the number of points the Cowboys scored. Well, 3 times the number of points would be 3x less my 14. That's the expression for the Giants score. Then we keep reading. All together, they scored 46 points. Well, I know that's what my equation is going to equal. And now I'm going to take my two expressions and add them together. X plus 3x minus 14, all of that equals 46. Combine like terms. 1x plus 3x, that gives me 4x minus 14 equals 46. Add 14. 4x equals 60. Divide by 4. And x is equal to 15. Okay? So the Cowboys scored 15. And when we plug in 15 to the Giants score, 15 times 3 is 45. Minus 14 is 31. All right, what does the question say? What does it want to know? How many points did the Cowboys score? Well, there you go. 15 points. All right, 3 more to go. We'll be off. Benito. All right, number 9. Adeline has 9 more than twice the number of Skittles that Morgan has. Hey, Morgan, that's our X. So we're going to let Morgan equal X. And then we're going to read again. Adeline has 9 more than twice the number of Skittles that Morgan has. 9 more. Right? 9 more is 9 plus twice the amount that Morgan has. 2x. All right, now what does it say? If twice the number of Skittles that Adeline has is 2 more than 5 times the number of Skittles that Morgan has, how many does each girl have? Wow, that is bananas, yo, bananas. All right, let's re-look at this. If twice the number of Skittles that Adeline has, twice the number of Skittles that Adeline has. Let's just look at what Adeline has. Adeline has 9 plus 2x. In order to get twice that, I'm going to multiply. Right there, right? I'm taking Adeline's amount of Skittles and I'm doubling it, right? She has a double. And then we see the word is. That's equals. Now we have 2 more than 5 times the number of Skittles that Morgan has. 2 more than 5 times Skittles that Morgan has, okay? 2 more than 5 times the number of Skittles that she has. How would I do that if she has X Skittles? Well, 2 more than 5 times the number that she has. Luckily, she only has X number of Skittles. So when I put 5x, that's 5 times the number plus 2. Boom! This equation was straight crazy. I'm going to circle it because it's a special one. But you can do it. You just reread it a couple times if you have to, you know, but now we have it set up. It looks pretty good. Now we're going to distribute. 18 plus 4x equals 2 plus 5x. Remember when we have variables on both sides, we always want to move the letters to the left. Well, I have positive 5x here on the right, so I'm going to subtract. Okay, like that. 18 minus x equals 2. Now it's just a 2-step equation, right? First we're going to subtract 18. We get negative x equals negative 16. Divide by negative 1. So there's a negative 1 here. So x equals 16. So that means Morgan has 16 Skittles. And when we plug in 16 for X, we get 2 times 16 is 32, plus 9, 41. All right, so how many Skittles does each girl have? So Morgan has 16 Skittles. And Adeline, let's spell it now. Something. Adeline has 41. Skittles. Boom. Boom. Okay, that was definitely a challenging one. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. But you just had to reread it. Look where that is. That's where the equal sign is always gonna be. All right, now we're gonna talk about some that I actually really love. I love consecutive integers, word problems, because they're so simple. There's not a lot of words. We just need to know what the definition of a consecutive integer is. First off, the definition of consecutive means one after the next, right? So there are 2 integers. We're gonna let x equal the first integer. Now, there's 2 integers. X is the first. The very next integer after x is x plus 1. That is the second integer. If you think about it, like let's just pretend 5 was my first integer. The next consecutive integer would be 6 because I added 1 to it. Okay, that's how the setup. It's always, we start with x and then we add 1 if they're just regular. Yeah, these are regular ones because like odd and even, we'd have to skip over this one. We'd add just 6 2, or not 6 I'm sorry. No, I'm just kidding, so confused. All right, here's my is, that's my equals. Is 113. I take my 2 integers. I got my first integer x plus my second integer x plus 1. And I'm ready. I got an equation. What? Combine like terms. X plus x is 2x. Plus 1 equals 113. Minus 1 on both sides. 2x equals 112. Divide by 2. X equals 56. So my first integer is 56. And my second integer is 57. So my 2 consecutive integers, my integers that are one after another, are 56 and 57. All right, let's do it again. We have one more integer problem, and I do so like these ones. Oh, look, it's at the bottom of our paper. I was on the next slide. Move it on up. All right, number 11 says the sum of 2 consecutive integers is 87. All right, is equal. All right, let's let x equal the first integer. The second integer is going to be x plus 1. All right, now we know the sum means we're adding them together is 187. So x plus x plus 1 is 187. Combine like terms. X plus s is 2x plus 1 equals 187. Subtract 1. 2x equals 186. Divide by 2. And x is equal to 93. All right, so the first integer is 93. The second integer is 94. So my 2 integers are 93, or consecutive integers, I should say, 93 and 94. Boom, nailed it. Hey, let me know if you have any questions. You know any of an activity. All right, have an awesome day. Bye.